that he leaked. And after going over what happened to him, or his experience, I've come to the conclusion that the U.S. Army is totally incompetent. This might not be anything new. I don't feel like it's new to me. I've always known they were at least somewhat incompetent. But after reading about Bradley Manning, it's very clear. They had him, it seems to me as I was reading through almost a dozen times, they had the opportunity to understand that something was wrong with him. Every supervisor he ever had, or the person that was supervising him in the Army, ran into things with his mental issues and his violent outbreaks or whatever, and none of them. They always kept saying we need to discharge him, but they never followed through. And wherever he was located, it seemed like this would happen about every place. He was at all kinds of different military bases before he was in Iraq, and everyone they had an incident with him. One of them I was reading about, he flipped over a table because he was upset, and then later on they found him in a fetal position, and he had cut words into himself. And it wasn't just an isolated thing. So if the U.S. Army can't detect the mental instability of one very crazy individual, and thank God that he was crazy because he released the documents for us to expose the U.S. government tyranny. But if the U.S. Army cannot determine after having multiple attempts who is mentally unfit to serve, then they're just totally incompetent. I want you to go read through, if you haven't, for yourself about Bradley Manning. I think this was the most interesting thing I read all day, and I'm glad that I read it because this guy was he's a total nut job, even though I still think he's good because he released all the documents. But go read through and you can see for yourself how really screwed up the Army was in handling this particular individual. There's lots of material out there. I don't have one particular source for you, but just if you haven't read on Bradley Manning, go read up on it, and then you'll understand why I think that the Army was totally failed with this guy.